Go ahead.
All right. Hey guys. Hope you guys are all doing great. My name is Annie Lazor. I am originally from Detroit, as you can see in the background here. I have a little poster in my house. I'm originally from Beverly Hills. I was a Birmingham Public Schools kid, just like all of you guys. I went to Bingham Farms and Covington and Groves High School. I ended up going to swim in college at Auburn, which is way down south in Alabama. And then I went professional in my swimming career for about 7 years. I was a professional for 7 years, which is a pretty long career, believe it or not. And I was able to be a professional athlete, which is pretty amazing. It's something I always dreamed of as a kid, although I think I dreamt of being a professional soccer player, not a professional swimmer. So, you take the wins where you can get them, but yes, I was able to be a professional swimmer for 7 years out of college. I worked hard enough to be able to go to the Olympics. I went to the Olympics, the most recent Summer Olympics in what was supposed to be 2020, but ended up being 2021 in Tokyo, Japan. So I was able to go to that. I won a bronze medal there in Tokyo. And I've been fortunate enough to win world championship titles. I was the world champion in the 200 breaststroke, which is the same event that I won my bronze medal in 2021. I've been to the Pan American Games, which is basically like a mini Olympics with all the countries in North America, in Central America, and in South America. I've won 4 events there at the Pan American Games. And yeah, I have recently retired from professional swimming. I retired last summer, and I am now coaching at the University of Florida. So I don't know if you can see over here, but it's kind of sunny outside right now. I've got a palm tree in my house. So I've escaped the Midwestern cold and the Michigan cold, and I live in Florida now. But Michigan is always my home. I grew up in the Birmingham Public Schools, just like you guys. I swam in the NSSL for Woodside. I don't know if any of you guys swim, at a local summer club or a country club, but I was just like you guys, and I worked really hard and was able to go to the Olympics. And I'm super excited to talk to you guys today and answer any questions you guys have for me. I understand that March is reading month this month, and your theme is the Olympics, which is amazing because obviously those are coming up in the next few months, which is super exciting. It's going to be in Paris, which will be so fun. I have quite a few athletes that I'm coaching right now that will hopefully be there. So yeah, I'm excited to answer any questions that you guys have for me. And yeah, I'm just super stoked to be here. So please go ahead. This is your time. I want you guys to feel like you can ask me anything. I was just like you guys, right? I sat in that classroom in Birmingham, Michigan, or in my case, Beverly Hills, Michigan. So I really was just like you guys. So please, any questions you have for me, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to answer anything you've got.
All right, great.
Okay.
We have our first
Thank
question.
you.
I'm Remy. My question is, if you weren't a swimmer, what would you do?
Good question. Hi, Remy. Nice to meet you. So if I wasn't a swimmer, I think I touched on it a little bit in my intro, but actually when I was growing up, soccer was like my first love, right? So I think my mom found some kind of like career day project, like an arts and crafts project I did maybe when I was a couple years younger than you, maybe in 3rd grade or something. And it said, when I grow up, or maybe 1st grade, when I grow up, I want to be blank. And I put professional soccer player. That's what I wanted to be. I idolized this woman who was on the US national team when I was growing up, still playing soccer. Her name's Mia Hamm. And she played soccer at the University of North Carolina. And that was like the school to go to play soccer, right? And so I really wanted to go there and play soccer. It just came to be when I turned about 14 or 15. I started getting really good at swimming. My swim coaches started to get a little worried I was going to get injured playing soccer because I was a very aggressive player. I had no problem tackling people or going full force. So I unfortunately, not really unfortunately, but I decided to pick swimming over soccer because I realized, I could do some cool things in swimming. And I actually I didn't end up going there, but I took a recruiting trip for swimming to the University of North Carolina. So it was one of my like 4 or 5 schools I was choosing between. So it's kind of a funny full circle moment that I grew up wanting to go to North Carolina to play soccer, and I ended up taking a recruiting trip there for swimming. So anyway, long story short, sports has always been something that my family and I have all really loved and something we've all connected over. So yeah, I think a long time ago, even when I was maybe still your age, when I was like 10 or 11, I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to be a soccer player, even though I was still swimming. So the future just has interesting things for you, but yeah, that's what I wanted to be when I was growing up. So I wanted to be a professional athlete, just not the sport I thought I was going to have.
Thank you.
Thanks, Remy.
And then we'll have that.
So, hi, my name's Layla, and so you mentioned you swam at Woodside. Did you start there? Or did
Yes.
you somewhere else?
Yes, I did. So yes, I swam at Woodside. My neighborhood is right across the street from Woodside. So that's where I started swimming. Yeah. I have 2 brothers. I have an older brother and a younger brother. And my older brother started being on the swim team there when I was maybe 4 or so. So I was still a little too young to be on the swim team, but I had to go to his meets all the time. And obviously, me liking sports and stuff, I just wanted to do all the sports. So after having to watch him for a year or 2, I finally was able to join the swim team. It's where I took swim lessons. It's where I swam my first full 25 down the pool. So yeah, that is where I started swimming. And then, I started swimming in the winters when I was maybe 9, maybe 8. But I did that in soccer, pretty much until I was 15. And then I ended up just focusing on swimming. But yeah, Woodside is where I started swimming. It's where I took my first swim lessons and everything. So like I said, like if any of you guys swim in the NSSL at any kind of club there, or, in a country club or whatever, like that's where I started too. So yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks.
Hi,
Group?
Hi, I'm Alana.
I'm Anna.
I'm Addie.
Alana, Anna, and Addie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of A's. And Annie, lots of A names. Okay, go for it.
We all sort of had like a similar question.
Okay.
Like, how old were you when you started swimming, and when did you start swimming?
Yeah, so similar question. I started swimming when I was 5, really. Yeah. And I started swimming at Woodside. And again, like I said, like I always liked swimming. I knew I was good at it. I spent, obviously, like I said, Woodside was right across the street from my neighborhood. So I spent all my summers there. I was at the pool 24/7, but like as far as sports go, my first love really was soccer. I loved it. So, even though I started swimming at a young age and I kept doing that, and I knew I wanted to work hard at it. I knew I was competitive. I knew I liked to win. But I will say that like playing soccer as well too really helped me prolong my love for sports, because I think if I had just picked swimming at, your age when I was 10 or whatever, I think swimming is a hard sport. You stare at a black line at the bottom of a pool, and you can't really talk that much when you can't breathe, right? So yeah, so I think I started young, yes, but I played other sports, and I think that really helped me become more well-rounded, and playing other sports helped me keep my love for swimming because it wasn't all about that all the time, right? Yeah. Thanks, ladies.
Who is someone who inspired you to become a swimmer?
Ooh, who is someone who inspired me to become a swimmer? Good question. So I am really the only swimmer in my family. I have a lot of friends who I was on the Olympic team with, or I swam with in college, who like their parents also swam in college or whatever. And like both of my parents, like never touched a pool in that way. So it was really kind of a new thing for my family, swimming. And I guess I would say like I was very self-motivated growing up. Like I was motivated by the fact that I just really liked to race, and I liked, I liked winning. Like winning's fun, right? So I was very motivated by that. But as I got older, I was able to have some really great coaches throughout my career. I had some that really, as I got better and better within, the area in Michigan, they kind of helped me see a bigger picture that, okay, like you can go to junior nationals and, be top 3 or win. You can go to Olympic trials and, get top 16 or whatever. Like, so I had some really great coaches that were really experienced in the area in Michigan that I don't think I would have been able to open myself up to those opportunities if I didn't have those people around me. I always had really great teammates, so I'm really grateful for that. They were always really supportive of my swimming career. I had great friends that were really supportive of my swimming career. But I would say the person who, the people who inspired me the most were kind of all the people that I was fortunate enough to look up to in the swimming world as I was growing up. I was really lucky to be able to watch Michael Phelps, which is pretty amazing. Ryan Lochte. There's quite a few swimmers that was kind of like a really great age in swimming. When I was, maybe a little bit older than you, maybe around your age, like 10 to 14 or so, that I was really lucky to be able to watch. So yeah, I just loved watching swimming. So that's kind of something that kind of motivated me because I loved to compete. I loved that adrenaline of racing. And so watching them kind of made me feel that a little bit. So I was really lucky to be able to watch some pretty incredible swimmers growing up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Henry.
Hey, Henry, what's up, dude?
What's up? And how does it feel being an Olympic swimmer?
Feels awesome. It's still something that it's not something that I like remind myself of every hour of the day, but it is pretty cool to be a part of that group. It's a group that it's not like I was an Olympian, I'm always going to be an Olympian. And that's something that's pretty amazing. It's a pretty special group of people, especially being on the United States team. It's the hardest team to make in the world. So, and I take a lot of pride in being able to say that I made that team. It's pretty cool. But the reality is like, now I get to do things like this, like talk to you guys, and hopefully you guys remember this moving forward. If you guys have big goals in anything in life, it's something that now, because of what I accomplished, I'm able to kind of come back to, kids who are just like me growing up and be able to do this with you guys. So I'm really grateful for that. But I haven't touched this in probably like a year, I want to say. So it's really like not something I think about every day, but it's probably something I should like think about more. It's a pretty amazing accomplishment. I actually it was sitting right behind me. It's in this little stand right here. I'll pull out my medal for you right here. I wish you guys could see it in person because it's really heavy. Like whenever someone touches it, they're like, whoa, this is a lot heavier than I thought it was. But here it is. So it's like the size of my palm. It's like 2.5 pounds. So it's only 2.5 pounds, and it's the size of my palm. So it's pretty big. Here it's like half the size of my face. So it's pretty big. Here, I'll try and show you guys up close. But so it's got like the Olympic, goddess on it or whatever that is. It's got the Olympic rings. It says Games of the 37th Olympiad, Tokyo 2020. Back here, it has the Tokyo logo right here. So that's kind of cool. And then right here, actually, they engrave it on what sport you won the medal in. So it says aquatics, swimming, women's 200-meter breaststroke right here. So that's kind of like my favorite part because it's kind of like a little secret part there. And they put it in this really cool like wood case here. So yeah, it feels cool. And it's moments like this where like this sits on my stand back here every day, and I don't really ever take it out and look at it. But it's moments like this where I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool that I got to bring this thing home. Like, that's pretty amazing. So yeah, thanks for asking. It's pretty cool, but it's not something I think about every day. But then when I do things like this, it reminds me how cool it is.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi Annie, my name is JC. Hi Annie, my name is JC, and my question for you is, how many times have you been to the Olympics? How many
How many
times?
times? Just the one time. So, but I've gone to the Olympic trials 3 times. So I went to Olympic trials in 2012 when I was just 17 years old. A lot of you guys were not born in 2012, were you? No. Oh my gosh.
One kid.
One kid. Okay.
Right. And
All right.
also, do you know someone named Coach Carl, the coach for the Water Hogs?
Yeah, I know Carl. He was still coaching when I never swam for Carl, but I swam against Carl a lot. I probably gave Carl a lot of problems, but that's okay. But yeah, no, I know Carl. He's a great guy. I swam against his girls a lot, and I swam against Forest Hills, obviously, all the time. Yeah, no, I know Carl. I definitely know Carl. But yeah, I just went to the one Olympics. I tried out 3 times though. I tried out in 2012 when I was 17. I tried out, I went to Olympic trials, and at Olympic trials, you go through preliminaries, semifinals, and finals. So preliminaries, everyone who has the cut swims, right? Semifinals, out of preliminaries, only 16 people get to move on and swim at night in the semifinals. So I qualified for and then in finals, only 8 people from the semifinals get to move on to the final. And then when you're in the final, if you get first or second, you make the team. That's it. So you got to swim the race 3 times to make the team. And then in the final, you have to get first or second.
Wow.
So when I was at Olympic trials in 2012, when I was in high school, I got 15th. So I got to swim at night, and I got to swim against one of the people that I just like idolized growing up. I mean, she was like, I thought she was the greatest. And I just kind of went to that trials like, I know I'm probably not going to make the team, but let's just go and have fun and see what happens. And I ended up making the semifinals, and I got to swim against one of my idols right before she retired, which was pretty amazing. In 2016, right when I graduated from college, I went to the Olympic trials and I got 5th. So I was 3 places away from making the Olympic team. So that's pretty tough to get so close and swim so well, but just be this far away from making the team it's a pretty tough pill to swallow. So I didn't make that team just by this much. And then in 2021, I won the 200 breaststroke. So I made the team in 2021. So 9 years after I went to my first Olympic trials, I made my first Olympic team. 9 years. So that's a long time to work hard and keep, persevering through moments when you're this close, but then you don't make it. And yeah, so I just made the one team, but I've gone to the qualifications 3 times.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Hi, my name is Andrew, and
Hi,
my
Andrew.
question is, what was your favorite part of being an Olympic swimmer?
What was my favorite part? Great question. So I think one thing that people don't realize being an Olympic swimmer is, yes, the competition's great, but it's really hard to get there. And it's really, it's a lot of pressure, right? Like swimming at the Olympics is a lot of pressure. You have to, and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, right? So the actual swimming part of it normally isn't people's favorite part or the part that they remember the most. My favorite part was the 6 weeks before between Olympic trials and the Olympics that I got to spend with 50 other people who made the Olympic team, 25 women and 25 men. So it's a pretty special group, and it's a very binding experience that you get to have with these other people, which I'm super grateful for. So after we make the Olympic team, we go on a training camp for about 3 weeks with the whole team. And then we were lucky enough to go to Hawaii for our training camp. So we went to Hawaii for 3 weeks before we went to Japan. And then you have kind of a week camp in Japan, a training camp in Japan, and then you go to the village and you go to the Olympics. The coolest part for me is all that time I got to spend with my teammates before the Olympics. And not only that, but watching, because some of these people, like, they've been my friends for a long time. I was on some junior national teams with these girls, like, 8 or 9 years before I made the team. So I was already friends with a lot of these people before we all made the Olympic team together. So being able to spend that time with them, that is once in a 10 million lifetimes experience, number one. And number two, then going to the games and watching them accomplish their dreams, that was probably my favorite part for sure. It's just an unbelievable feeling, like watching someone that you have known for 10 years win an Olympic gold medal is like, it is just an indescribable feeling, like the happiness that you have for your teammates, and it's just knowing yourself what it takes to get there. It's so hard, and you have to work so hard to get there. So that was probably my favorite part, was spending all that time with my teammates. And then in return, after spending all that time with them, seeing them go and accomplish their dreams was definitely my favorite part for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi, I'm Blake. How long were you away in Tokyo, and did your family go with you?
Yeah, good question. So I was, from when I qualified for the team, that was maybe the end of June. I think I left for training camp in Hawaii sometime in the end of June, and I came back to Michigan in the beginning of August. So I was gone for about 6 weeks, with like all my teammates. And so we went to Hawaii for a few weeks, and then we went to Japan for a few weeks, and then we came home. So I was gone for about 6 weeks. Luckily, my coach from home, he was on the Olympic staff, so I was able to have him there. But because the Olympics were still during COVID, my family was not allowed to be there. So that, but you know what? Like, they were able to watch me make the team, and I was able to spend a lot more time with them at the Olympic trials, and they watched me, accomplish my dreams and make the team there. And truly at the Olympics, visitors aren't really allowed in the village. It's really for athletes only. So I wouldn't have been able to see them very much anyway. But no, my family, because of COVID, was not allowed to go to the Tokyo Olympics. So I definitely would have loved for them to go and watch. But I was really lucky in the sense that my coach was there, who I have a great relationship with. He was with me for the entire 6 weeks. I had 4 or 5 teammates. I trained at Indiana University during the time. I had 4 or 5 teammates from Indiana that made the US team. And I was really lucky in that my husband, he wasn't my husband at the time, he was just my boyfriend, but my husband ended up making the team for his native country in Brazil. And we ended up sitting next to Brazil. Of all of the countries at the Olympics, we ended up sitting next to Brazil in our team seating area. So I was able to be with him for more time than I thought I was going to have. So no, my family was not able to be there. But my husband was there. Now my husband was there. My coach was there, and a lot of my teammates were there. So that's a pretty close second for me. So I'll take it. I definitely would say I had more people there than most because no families were allowed to go because of COVID. Thanks, Blake.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Aiden, and my
Hey,
question,
Aiden.
how many days and hours did you need to train once you found out you made it to the Olympics?
Ooh, so when you make the Olympic team in the US, the Olympic trials are only like 6 weeks before the Olympics. So it's not just like when you make the team, it's pretty much all the training before you go to qualify for the Olympic team, right? So the training between the Olympic trials and the Olympics didn't really change that much, right? But my average training cycle was I would have between 9 and 10 practices a week. So I would train 2 times on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. I had 2-hour practices, one in the morning at 5:45. I was jumping in a cold pool at 5:45 in the morning. So that is tough. And that does not get easier as you get older. And the more you do it, it still is cold and it still doesn't feel good for the first, 5 minutes. But then after that, you get used to it. So, and then I would have one practice on Saturdays and I would have Sundays off. So I was in the pool swimming about 20 hours a week. So I would swim for 20 hours a week. Yeah, it's a lot, right? So I would swim for 20 hours a week, about 10 practices a week. I would go and do some strength training. So I would go do some weightlifting. I would do that 3 times a week for about an hour and a half. So I was in the weight room for 3 to 5 hours a week. And then as you get older and your body gets a little more tired, like mine was as I turned pro, you have to kind of do some rehab and, go get massages, which I know sounds weird, but like it helps. So I would say the total time that I was spending on training or recovering or, whatever, it's probably about 25 to 30 hours a week. So it's a lot of work being put in. So and it doesn't really change once you make the Olympic team. That kind of stays the same. So it's more about all the work that you put in before that in order to make the team.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi, I'm Anna. And when did you realize you were good enough to go to the Olympics?
Oh, good question. Not until I was much older, actually. I was maybe about 24 when I realized like, oh, I ended up when I was 24. So this was 2 years into me being a pro. I knew I was good. I was on the national team, right? But being on the national team is you're between first in the country and sixth in the country. And the Olympic team is just first and second. Those are the only ones that make the team, right? So I was in the 4th place range or so for a while. But then I ended up swimming a time that was first in the world when I swam it. So not only was I first in the country, but I was first in the world. And my mentality was, going to the Olympics would be cool, but I just want to work as hard as I can and just see what I can do and go from there. Because obviously making the Olympics also kind of has a dictation on, or kind of depends on what other people are going to do, right? Like at Olympic trials, I could break the world record, right? But if 2 other people break the world record and they swim faster than I swam, I'm not going to the Olympics, right? So that's tough, right? So, but when I did that, when I was about 24, I was like, oh, wow. Cause I always had that as a goal, but again, like you kind of have to just focus on yourself a little bit. I always had that as a goal, but then when I did that at 24, I was like, oh, like this is real. Like I'm first in the world right now. Like not only should I be thinking about making the Olympic team, I should be thinking about winning the Olympics.
Yeah.
So that was really exciting. That was in 2019. So that was the year before COVID hit. So yeah, so that was I would say a lot of people have that realization in swimming more in college. And I was good in college, but I wasn't as good in college as I was when I turned professional. So, yeah, I was a little more of a late bloomer, let's say. I always knew I was good, but I didn't really have those thoughts of making an Olympic team until much later. So just keep on working hard for what you want, and you'll make it happen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, I'm Dimitri, and I just wanted to know, what club did you like last swim for before you went to the Olympics?
What club?
Yeah, like what swim club?
Yeah, so I swam after I finished college swimming at Auburn. I moved colleges. So basically, a lot of professional swimmers train at universities. So I ended up going to swim at Indiana University. So it's in the same conference as Michigan and Michigan State and Ohio State. So it's in that same conference. They're kind of the best swimming school in the Big Ten conference. So, and they had a great program for the events that I wanted to make the Olympics in. So that was the club that I swam for when I made the Olympic team. But when I was at home before I went to college, when I was still in Michigan, I swam at Atlantis my whole career, basically. So that's the club that I swam at. Yeah, and it was great. I loved it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Liliana. When did you first want to go to the Olympics?
When did I first want to go to the Olympics? I think that every swimmer, because swimming is the Olympics is swimming's biggest stage, right? So I think as long as I was swimming, even when I was younger, like I said, it wasn't really like a reality for me until I was much older, when I realized I could actually go to the Olympics. But even when I was younger, when I was, 14, 13, 15, I was like, man, it'd be really cool to go to the Olympics, but I never thought that that was something like I could do. So yeah, when I was like, I would watch the Olympics when I was your age. I was able to watch Michael Phelps at the Olympics when I was, 10 years old and 14 years old. I was able to watch him win 8 gold medals. Like I was your age when he did that. So I was able to watch that on TV and be like, man, like that is super cool. Like I want to be able to do that. But I never really thought I always worked hard for it, but it just seemed so far away at your age. It wasn't something that was super attainable that I could grasp at that time. But yeah, I always watched the Olympics even from a super young age and thought that, ooh, that would be super cool to do that, because all swimmers that are competitive like want to go to the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Emily. When did you start teaching swim?
When did I start teaching swimming?
Yes.
So I've taught swimming on and off for a long time. I ended up being a coach when I was in high school. I coached at Pine Lake Country Club. I coached at Birmingham Country Club. I did swim lessons. So it was always something that I was around. So I coached for a summer club when I was in high school. And then when I was starting to be a professional, I coached a club team for a little bit. And then I ended up, fully putting all my energy into my professional swimming career. So I stopped coaching for a little bit. But when I retired last summer, I took this college job coaching. So I've only been college coaching for 9 months now. But I've always been around it, and I was at another college program for a while before this. So I had a lot of experience in that area, just being around it. But yeah, on and off for pretty much all throughout, high school and college and the last few years. But I've really solely been coaching only for like a little less than a year. Yeah. You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Jacob. What medals or awards have you won?
So I have this one that I showed you guys. So that one's pretty cool. Honestly, I give my mom a lot of my medals because yes, I'm 29 and I still give my mom all my things. She is the one that kind of without her and my dad, I wouldn't be able to do this, right? Like they were the ones that wanted to support me. Let me go see. I think I have sorry, I'm about to walk through my house here real quick. I have my medal that I won when I became a world champion. I have my medal. Is it right here? Yes, it is. Okay. I have my medal from when I was a world champion right here. Here's the box for it. So it was in China when I won. I competed in China. So here she is. So it's got a really fun, you know, kind of that nice Chinese silk that they have there. So that's the outside box. And then here, let's see. Oh, I haven't touched this one in a while. So here's my gold medal when I became a world champion. There you go. She's really long, like super long. But yeah, she's a little smaller than my other one, but she's still pretty cool. So yeah, so that's those are my only 2 medals I think I have in our house. Yeah, if you want to go a couple miles down the road and look at my other medals at my mom's house, maybe she'll let you. But yeah, all my other medals are at my mom's house in Michigan. You guys are far closer to those medals right now than I am. But yeah.
Broke any records, like school
Have I-
records?
Have I broke any school records?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you go to Groves High School, you'll see my name all over that record board, I think. I think at Covington, oh, that's so long ago. Maybe I don't know if I haven't really kept track of them. But when I was at Auburn, I still hold the school records at Auburn University. I still hold those school records. Yep, at Auburn. I think I'm still in the top 10 in the world all time in the 200 breaststroke. I think in the 100 since I went that time, I've dropped to a little bit outside the top 10, maybe like 12 or 13. But I think in the 200, I'm still top 10. So I'm top 10 all time in the 200 breast in the world. Trying to think. I was the second fastest American ever behind the girl who broke the world record at one point in time. I think now maybe I'm third. But yeah, those are the only ones that I can like think of right now. But I know because we had our SEC championships at Auburn, the pool that I swam at in college a few weeks ago. Because now I'm a coach at another SEC school at Florida, and my name was still there. So yeah, those are the only ones that I can think of right now.
Annie, thank you so much. That was the last of our questions. Our kids have to go back from lunch now, but that was awesome. And also you're like, I think that's all I think that's the only thing I've accomplished. Well, it sounds like you've accomplished a ton of stuff and it's really amazing.
Well, thank you.
So amazed by you.
Hey guys, thanks so much for spending your lunch with me. That was really nice of you guys. I know this is kind of your time just to like let loose. So
Well, we appreciate you so much. And I think everyone would like to say one last thank you to you. So you guys say thank you one more time.
thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Annie. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem at all.
All right. Enjoy. We'll see you
Yeah.
later.
Bye.
Bye.